with the biggest newsletter in financial history in the U.S., military intelligence before that, one of the largest gold and silver brokers in one of your incarnations, and you're back out of retirement now with one of the biggest newsletters again, the International Forecaster. You've been forecasting and breaking all this down for a long time. You've said within the next 2 years, total depression, basically no way to get out of that. Ron Paul was saying it looks like they are going to try to go into martial law with the Army brigades. The Congress is agreeing to the total bailout, basically making Paulson supreme dictator. The world economy, the power to buy, sell, raid any companies. The way other analysts have read this, it allows them to grab houses, infrastructure under executive orders. Just break down what we're witnessing from your own perspective, in your own words, Bob Chapman.
Well, first of all, the people who are ostensibly trying to save us from all of this are the people who executed the whole thing in the first place. And the American public doesn't know that. No one has told them that. And
yeah, you'd think that'd be a big news item, a huge issue, that literally the architect of this, even more than Greenspan, is Paulson. I mean, he is the chief scallywag, the chief thief, the leader of this gang of pirates, and he's running around as our savior.
Exactly, and he was with Goldman Sachs when all this was going on, and so he was a contributor to the, in part, to the collapse of the economic system, and that was caused by voracious greed on the part of all of these people. And of course, the ringmaster was previously Sir Alan Greenspan, and now we have Ben Bernanke, whose idea of settling a financial question is to use helicopters and piles of money that they can dump out of. And let me tell you something, were they not able to pass this bailout, they would have ran the thing anyway and just continue to create massive amounts of money and credit to keep the system floating. The whole thing is all about bailing out Wall Street and the bankers. The numbers that we're talking about here, the minimum losses over the next 5 years will be $3 trillion. It could get as high as $10 trillion. Nobody really knows yet because...
So you think that's a good number out of Bloomberg, $5 trillion?
Is that what they said?
Yes.
Well, that's a good number. A very good number, because I'm being conservative, 3 to 10. And I don't know where yet, because I don't know what's on everybody's balance sheets, because they're hiding it. And these are the same people that Bernanke and Paulson are acting for to relieve them of all of this debt that they created through either their incompetence, their corruption, or their greed.
Well, I mean, reading this where it says no one can question, no one can investigate anything they want to buy, sell, any activity they want, all of them retroactively have liability protection. That's not even the right word. They're literally being given a pardon.
Immunity.
Immunity. I mean, this is just, and the public's just walking around going, ooh. I mean, I say that, but you only have 28%.
Well, even worse, Alex, is the Congress. They know what's going on. They've known for 4 years that Fannie and Freddie were bankrupt. It's a conspiracy of silence. And I'll tell you, if they vote for this thing, you people out there have got to vote everyone out of office who voted for it in both houses. We don't want them anymore. The polls out there are now showing that 66% of the people are against this. I mean, is that plain enough language?
Actually, the Rasmussen poll, this is very accurate, shows 28% are for it, so that'd be 72% against it. Stay there, Bob Chapman. We'll come back, keep breaking this down. Go to Ricardo, Cole, Brian, Christopher, and others. 800-25-99231 is the number to join us. Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com are our sites.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden.
This is his MO.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings and war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
You know, I know exactly what you're thinking when it comes to this economy. The banks are crashing, the stock market's a mess, there's the mortgage crisis, there's the lending crisis, there is the food and gasoline prices through the ceiling crisis, and we're paralyzed a little bit. We don't know exactly how to respond to it. I don't know what to say. What can you do? Do what you can do. That's what you do. You do what you can do. What I can do is I can put some food away. I know there's a global food shortage. I can read it. I can go to efoodsdirect.com, read hundreds of articles about this. I can go up on the Google website and Google food shortage and see the world's a mess. I know it, you know it. Look at the prices. Look where they're headed. Be prepared. Take care of yourself. You owe your family some security, some sense of self-being. A little bit of self-reliance is a good idea right now. Get some food from efoodsdirect.com. Go up to efoodsdirect.com right now. Look, hey, you don't even have to can your own food anymore. We canned it for you. That's 1-800-409-5633. efoodsdirect.com. 1-800-409-5633. Call us now.
Attention. This is an extremely urgent, self-reliant news bulletin. If you have ever wanted to produce your own cheaper-than-dirt survival food, this is going to be the most important message you will ever hear. Here is why. This network has just learned of a new video course that reveals the secrets of how to safely prepare and store all types of survival foods in an event of social unrest and food shortages here in the U.S. Grain shortages and hunger are spreading across the globe. Will troops guard the food supplies in the U.S. this fall? Don't wait. Learn the food shortage skills that can keep you and your family alive in a crisis. Get the details at foodshortageusa.com. That's foodshortageusa.com. Or you can call toll-free 877-327-0365. Don't wait for empty shelves. Go to foodshortageusa.com while you still have time. www.foodshortageusa.com. Or toll-free at 877-327-0365. Act now.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, call's coming up here in just a few minutes. Bob Chapman with us for the rest of the hour, final hour. Bob, continue with breaking down what we're seeing unfold right now.
We won't know until probably Saturday what's going to go on. But all they're doing is buying a little time here, a little time, maybe a year, 2 years max, to extend the process of collapse. And the price is going to be paid as this horrific debt. And then on top of it, you're going to have massive inflation because the money that's going to be put into the system was just created out of thin air, effectively. And it's immediately going to get monetized and immediately be translated to inflation. As opposed to that normal money and credit being injected into the economy, it takes about a year and a half or a year or 6 months for it to show up in the form of inflation. Now, this happens immediately. So I'm calling inflation at 13.58%, and I would think that next year inflation would be over 20%. And if they continue to do that, because they don't need $800 or $700 billion, they really need $3 trillion. Well, you got Weimarism written all over it, and we're going to go through the same thing that they did in Germany in 1920 to 1923.
Now, Bob, explain to people, because it hasn't been taught in school anymore, explain what 15% or 20% compounded each year inflation means. That's like someone coming in your bank account each year and stealing 20% out of it, and then it compounds each year until in just 3 or 4 years there's nothing left. Major federal studies, and those are even whitewashes, admit that in the last 6 years, half the buying power of people on Social Security has already been lost. My God, if another 20% is lost in the next year, I mean, this is going to be terminal for the real economy.
That's right. Absolutely correct. And, you know, they don't want to talk about that in Congress. I mean, these people are absolutely despicable in our Congress. They know what's going on, and yet they're going to go along with the bankers' program, the program to save the rich. And, you know, I'm not a rich guy, poor guy sort of person. I've been a lifelong, hardcore, rock-hard conservative. And I'm telling you, this is fascism first class. And I see them talking on CNBC about, if you can believe this term, and I heard Robert Reich this morning, who's the former evil dwarf of the Clinton administration. He's an economist